Hello there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video of Gaming Linux. This time around I'm going to be showcasing Motorsport Manager, which was released on the 9th of November 2017, with the Linux release following on the 24th of November after a hiccup happened. Motorsport Manager puts you not in the driving seat, but instead gives you full control of a racing team from 3 different series: GP3, GP2 or F1, or you can buy the DLC and take control of the GT series. You are the brains behind everything. You decide on who will be driving your cars. However, that's just a tiny smidgen of what you take control of. The one that will come to your attention most likely is during an actual race. Before the race, you will take part in practice sessions to try and find the correct setup for each driver, and they will give feedback about whether you've set it up properly yet or not. And you can adjust it depending on how happy they are. You manage your drivers through a race distance. You command and watch over both of your drivers throughout a race and tell them whether to use a high fuel mode to be able to go around the track faster, or turn it down to conserve fuel. And you command how risky the driver can be in regards to overtaking the driver that is in front. But you have to be wary not to keep them on full aggression, as it can lead to mistakes by either driver. If either of your drivers come next to each other on a track, you can even induce team orders if one of them is on a better strategy. The races are usually long enough for a pit stop, so that's another thing you have to manage. You choose how much fuel you add, which tyres to go onto, what parts to fix on the car, and whether to try and get a super quick pit stop which can pull you ahead of your rivals, but this also heightens the chances of mistakes. All of these options add time onto the pit stop, so if a race win is on a line, you really need to be quick thinking. Come the end of the race, your drivers will go relax for a few weekends. However, you're left to go back to the factory and deal with other things, such as certain developments of the car, from the engine, suspension, brakes, etc, etc. You get full control also of which staff to hire and where to deploy these staff, as you decide where the focus of development of your car goes. You also get to construct buildings such as wind tunnels or a race simulator, and update them buildings to help certain developments on the car. Graphically, the game is pretty good. You have a choice of running the game in 2D or fully 3D, which helps a lot in case you have a lower spec computer. There is a lot showed on the UI at once, but since it's a management game, it's all the stuff you really need to learn and to maintain at all times, as there is a lot of things you need to observe, not just from your own team, but all the other teams and drivers. The performance is pretty good on Linux also. I played a lot of this on my laptop when I first moved to London, and although my laptop isn't exactly bad, it still ran very well. I had no sort of slowdown issues and ran at 60 FPS for the most part of the time. Personally, I've been loving this game. I'm a massive fan of F1 and follow it very closely, so running my own team sounded like a pretty neat idea, which in the end was true. I love how in-depth the game is, whether you be instructing your drivers what to do or upgrading your headquarters. I like the way the strategy works. You can by all means leave it on aggressive and super fast all the time, however that induces more risk taking from your drivers, which can even lead to a disaster such as them crashing out. I had it one time where my driver battled from out of the top 10 into 3rd position and was threatening the drivers further up, so I kept everything on aggressive as I felt my driver could have won, which ended up with my driver in the gravel, which really sucked at the time, but it's also great that these risks are involved in the game, as you seriously have to think about so much. There is always ways to improve your team, however you have to keep a close eye on your current money situation, and also how much money gets set aside for the following year's car as well, so you can get a jump on your rivals. I like the choice of series that you have, however I feel that a lot more series could be added. As mentioned before, GP3, GP2, F1 and the recently added GT series DLC, I feel they could easily add some DTM series or maybe even a go-karting series. That would be really cool. And since they've recently added the GT series as a DLC, they could easily add more series for a bit more money. If you take part in each session, the race can range from 10 minutes to a full hour depending on if you speed up any sessions, which you can do. The devs certainly seem to listen to feedback, as since they've released the game, they've brought out a free DLC to be able to create your own team from the ground up. And like I've already said, they've also put for sale DLC for another race series, which is great, so make sure your feedback is known. I feel this game certainly has its flaws, but in general I've really enjoyed it and would most certainly recommend it to anyone who is a fan of motorsports, such as myself. You can pick the game up from Steam or the Humble Store, and it usually retails at £25. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Rate and subscribe for future Linux content, and peace the hell out. See you later.